Ahead on American Sunrise, Charlie Kirk's memorial service is set for this Sunday in Arizona. Who will be speaking and what is the mood like at Turning Point USA just days ahead of the final goodbye? We'll have the very latest for you. Plus, the clock is ticking down towards a potential government shutdown. Ahead, how Democrats are trying to play hardball on negotiations. We'll have a lawmaker, a sitting congressman, joining us momentarily. And more reaction is coming in regarding ABC suspending Jimmy Kimmel's show indefinitely for comments regarding Charlie Kirk's assassination. Those stories and so much more right now on American Sunrise.
Good morning, America.
Welcome to American Sunrise.
Whether it's culture,
We have breaking news to share with you.
politics,
President Trump is joining us live now from Florida.
we've got you covered.
This is what it looks like to be a patriot.
We have to protect the American family.
The American dream is still alive.
I'm David Brody.
I'm Terrance.
And I'm Dr. Gina.
Good morning, everybody. I'm David Brody here in D.C. Hope you're well. Happy Friday to a degree. It's been a tough week, but a tough 10 days, actually. Let's go ahead and bring in Terrance Bates in our Denver newsroom. Terrance, good morning to you, sir. Gina will be along in just a little bit. Happy Friday. It's been a long, not just week. It's been what now? Almost 10 days, 9 days now. And we know September 10th is a turning point, really turning point.
Yeah, truly. Like Turning Point USA, obviously, is impacted very heavily, but it is a turning point for our country. And on Sunday, as we memorialize Charlie Kirk, I think it will be another emotional turning point for the country, particularly for conservatives. Speaking of Turning Point, they posted on X, David, that the Turning Point board has unanimously elected Erica Kirk as the new CEO and chair of the board. In prior discussions, Charlie expressed to multiple executives that this is what he wanted in the event of his death. So Erica Kirk, Charlie's widow, will now be the CEO and head of the board there. And so it's going to be interesting to see how she continues his legacy, but more importantly, how Turning Point USA continues to push his message forward.
Yeah, and to say it's a no-brainer is obvious. Let's bring in Dr. G as well, who's here on a Friday. Dr. G, the memorial service this weekend, you and I will be there. Steve Bannon will be there. We'll be hosting the coverage. Check out RAV this weekend. It's going to be, I'm not quite sure what to expect. I mean, we kind of get a sense of what to expect on paper and what we think it'll be, but that's where the Holy Spirit comes in, and who knows exactly how this is going to play out in a very positive and uplifting and emotional way.
I think you're exactly right, David. I think those descriptors fit it to a T. Also thrilled and congratulations to our good friend Erica.
Yes.
You know, this is. I loved the description you guys were talking about. I think it was on Jake's show where I was hearing this, right? Where he was talking about how in New Orleans they do the parade through the streets and it starts out very somber but turns into a celebration. I have a feeling that's kind of the direction this is going to go. But the thing to remember is to keep those, especially those closest to Charlie, in terms of his team, his producers, his friends that were close and around him every single day. A lot of our folks here at RAV, by the way, and
Yes.
Erica and her children in your prayers, because it comes in waves, you know, and it's going to come back and it's going to hit them. I figured out my grandmother's birthday was yesterday, and that she's been dead 22 years, and I still cry about her. And I thought, oh my gosh, how is this going to be for Erica and the kids? You know, how is this going to be? So keeping them in our prayers is a really important thing.
Yeah, so from prayer to the Bible verse. Take it away, Dr. G.
Yeah. All right, Bible verse today, 1 John 2, 15 through 17. Of all things, you guys, when we don't do the Bible verse, wow, the chat gets all up in our grill.
Yeah, they do.
Do not love the world or the things in the world. If anyone loves the world, the love of the Father is not in him. For all that is in the world, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life is not of the Father, but is of the world. And the world is passing away, and the lust of it. But he who does the will of God abides forever. I have to tell you, a friend of mine just wrote, she said, if you look at the ABCs of Revelation, those of you who memorize Revelation through a mnemonic device all recognize this. She goes, I think they've all come true. She said, do you think Jesus is coming back next week? I said, I sure do hope so. David, you've got something for us. Go ahead.
I do. I don't have the book of Revelation memorized. That is for sure.
No,
But,
no. I meant just the Jesus coming back details. Yeah, my friend Shar is like,
yeah.
you know those? Do you think they've all happened? I'm like, yeah, I don't know. So.
Well, I got those details memorized for sure. All right. President Trump now back home this morning, everybody. He's at the White House after wrapping up his second state visit to the UK. This weekend, he's going to head to Arizona, of course, for Charlie Kirk's memorial service on Sunday. Here is what the president had to say about Charlie in the UK. Take a look.
Just last week, a great American, Charlie Kirk, was heinously assassinated for speaking his mind. He was a great young man. Incredible future. Some people said he might be president someday. I told him, I said, Charlie, I think you have a good shot someday at being president. And he just wanted to take care of youth. He loved youth. I've never seen anybody relate to youth like Charlie. And they related to him. And they're devastated. But I appreciate the many British citizens who have offered their condolences. And again, Charlie was a great person. We'll be going out to a service on Sunday. I'll be leaving with some of the people in this room just to celebrate Charlie and all that he's done. So incredible. Never seen anything like it.
All right, for more, let's bring in Tennessee Congressman Tim Burchett. Congressman, always good to see you. You wonder what's going to transpire on Sunday. It's going to be momentous. Charlie would have loved the fact that Jesus will get top billing at the event. And, Charlie technically wasn't a pastor, but in many ways, he definitely was a pastor. Good morning to you, sir.
I couldn't have said it any better. I think, he wasn't the bumper sticker kind of Christian. He lived it and he meant it, and it showed in what he talked about. He was criticized for talking about what was the norm in this country for several hundred years. And then in the last few years, we've allowed it to be sidetracked, I think, by our colleges and our universities. We're doing a victory lap right now over, all these people that are getting fired and taken down, so to speak. The problem is the culture that produced them and the people that hired them are still in place. And they'll go back underground. And it's kind of, if y'all are from the South, you've seen kudzu. You can literally nuke it, bring in goats, do whatever, and you think you've got it cut down, but it's just cut down to the soil level. And then a few weeks later, it'll come up in 5 different spots. And I think that's what we need to be vigilant in. I can remember my last conversation with Charlie. It was on the night that we passed the big, beautiful bill. And he was asking me where I was at, and I was talking to him about my strategy. It was about 2:30 in the morning, actually. I just walked out of a meeting with the speaker, and he was talking to the president and on the phone. And we talked about strategy. And I hope that we use this time as some real strategy, not just doing a victory lap, pounding our chest, saying, look what we've done. We need real revival in this country, not just some flash in the pan. And I think that's what Charlie stood for. He stood for long term. He was always out there slugging it out. And I think as conservatives, we need to do that as well. We need to continue the fight, but we need to make sure we understand what's causing it, and we need to change that.
Congressman, I want to play you a clip of one of your colleagues, Jasmine Crockett of Texas, here in a minute. But just out of curiosity, are you planning on going out to the memorial service on Sunday?
No, sir, I'm not. I'm not even sure if we're going to get out of here this weekend. If we shut the government down, I suspect we'll be here over the weekend. So no.
I want to talk about that. You opened the door. But first, let me play you this clip, as I promised, of Jasmine Crockett, and I want your reaction to that.
We've got to talk about what it means when you're running for president or you're running for one of these higher offices, and you go out there and you talk about beating people up. You go out there and you say things like, I could shoot somebody in the middle of the street in New York and I could still win. We got to talk about that. That is next level. Mm-hmm. Me disagreeing with you, me calling you, I want to be Hitler. All those things are not necessarily saying go out and hurt somebody. But when you're literally telling people at rallies, yeah, beat them up and that kind of stuff, you are promoting a culture of violence. So we need to talk about what it looks like when you don't promote a culture of violence.
All right, Congressman, your reaction to what you just heard, and then since you opened the door, I'd also like you to address the whole issue of trying to get these appropriation bills passed, or at least get a CR passed to keep the government open, and what's happening behind the scenes. I know I'm putting a lot on your plate, but you look like you're a pretty healthy man and you like to eat.
I blocked it all off for y'all this morning. I figured we'd get into some more than we usually do. Jasmine's a friend of mine. We serve on oversight together, and I don't wish her any ill will, but she is gravely mistaken. You're talking about President Trump, who was shot once in another attempt on his life. You've got Steve Scalise, who was shot, and the guy had a Republican hunting list. That's what it said. And then the FBI ruled it as a suicide by cop. And the guy had been out there several days stalking us out, waiting for the right moment, and he took that right moment. And so I guess the irony of all this is that they keep throwing that back in our face, but it just doesn't hold. We've had Democrats that were shot, and the reason they were shot, they weren't liberal enough, according to the people that shot them. So it just doesn't. And MSNBC, goodness gracious, over 100 times in the last couple of weeks, they've called President Trump a fascist. So yeah. They're inciting the violence. They know it. They got their hands caught in it this time because Charlie Kirk got assassinated. But what I worry about is members of Congress that are out there. We have Jewish members that have been targeted. We have one member I was with yesterday that has over 50 threats. We have members that have to hire outside security, and it's ridiculous. And we've got to start taking this stuff serious, and we've got to call out some of our colleagues that are going way overboard, because I have a wife and a daughter and I want to get home to them. But the truth is that they're not they're not safe at all. And I feel like up here we're wide open, and our leadership needs to start taking all that serious on both sides of the aisle, and they need to start calling out the members who are saying this stuff.
Yeah. All right. I'm sorry, Dr. Gina, but I still would like the answer about the potential of you and your colleagues working over the weekend to try to get this CR passed, or to try to move forward. What's happening behind the scenes? Sorry, Dr. G, but I think it's an important point to address.
Currently, the Democrats are asking for over $1 trillion more. I don't like CRs, but if we have to pass a CR to keep from the shutdown and keep from spending more money, then I could hold my nose and vote for it. Several of us, though, are concerned about the security and may hold out till we get the proper funding for that. We found $600 million for Ukraine in this NDAA, and they claim the president asked for it, when in reality, I talked to the White House and the president did not ask for it. It was just the war pimps in our own party that wanted more money for that. And they're voting by their portfolios. They're not voting for the safety of the world, in my opinion.
Congressman Burchett, thank you so much for your time. Be safe.
Thanks, Congressman.
Thank you. I'll be safe. Appreciate y'all very much.
Appreciate you back too. We get so excited on our production calls when we find out you're coming on. Coming up, we check out the hottest headlines from the RAV newsroom with T. Bates, and later, President Trump says the U.S. is trying to get a key air base back from the Taliban in Afghanistan. How likely is this to happen? We'll assess next on American Sunrise.